Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce's wedding already looked like one of the biggest celebrity events of the year. But 1 week later, a new question is getting almost as much attention as the guest list. Who paid for the extraordinary security operation around Madison Square Garden? Today, New York City Mayor Zohran Mamdani confirmed that the couple paid the city more than $160,000 in permits and fees connected to the July 3rd wedding. Reports say those arrangements covered things including the police response, street closures, and parking restrictions around the venue. That is a real confirmed payment. But there is one important detail getting lost in some of the headlines. The city has not publicly released a complete itemized total for every dollar of NYPD overtime. In other words, we know Taylor and Travis paid more than $160,000 to the city. We do not yet know whether that figure equals the entire public cost of policing the event. That difference matters. A permit package can include planned services and restrictions, while a final overtime bill can depend on how many officers worked, how long they stayed, and whether additional resources were added. Without a public invoice or a clear statement from City Hall, it would be inaccurate to say either that the couple definitely covered every cost or that taxpayers were definitely left with a huge unpaid bill. What we do know is that this was not an ordinary private ceremony. Taylor and Travis married at Madison Square Garden on July 3rd. The venue's screens displayed a celebratory message. Nearby streets were closed to traffic, and large crowds of fans gathered outside in extreme summer heat. Reports based on permits obtained before the wedding said the celebration could include as many as 1,000 guests. That scale creates a difficult question for any major city. When a private event attracts thousands of people into public streets, security is no longer only about protecting the celebrities inside. Police also have to manage traffic, crowds, emergency access, and the safety of everyone who arrives without an invitation. Personally, I think it is positive that Taylor and Travis appear to have paid a substantial amount upfront, instead of simply treating city resources as free celebrity benefits. $160,000 is not symbolic money, even for two extremely wealthy people. But I also think the public deserves a clearer answer about the final accounting. That is not an accusation against the couple. It is basic transparency whenever public employees and public streets are used for a private event. And this is where the internet is already flattening a complicated story into two extreme versions. One version says Taylor personally paid the entire police bill and taxpayers paid nothing. The other says New Yorkers were forced to finance a billionaire's wedding. Right now, neither version has been fully established by the information made public. The most accurate summary is simpler. Mayor Mamdani says more than $160,000 was paid in city permits and fees. The wedding required a major security and traffic operation, but the exact total cost of NYPD overtime and whether every additional expense was reimbursed remains unclear. There is also no evidence here that Taylor or Travis broke any rule, refused to pay a bill, or received an illegal favor. A lack of public detail should not be turned into a scandal that has not been proven. The timing is interesting, though. The payment was revealed only after reporters questioned the mayor about the police presence and the use of public resources. That suggests the real story may be less about celebrity excess and more about how cities explain the line between private security and public responsibility. For events this large, that line will probably keep getting harder to draw. A stadium wedding, a championship parade, a film premiere, or a massive concert can all be privately organized while still creating real public costs outside the venue. Personally, I think the fairest standard is straightforward. Charge organizers for predictable private event costs, publish the final numbers when the event is over, and explain any remaining public expense. That protects taxpayers without pretending police can ignore a crowd simply because it gathered for a celebrity. So the headline is not that Taylor Swift left New York with a secret police bill. The headline is that she and Travis Kelce paid more than $160,000. While one important question remains unanswered. Was that the final total or only the beginning of it? What do you think? Should major celebrities be required to reimburse cities for every extra security cost their private events create? Or is some public expense unavoidable when crowds gather in public spaces? This is Hollywood Brief. Subscribe for Celebrate.